Hello and welcome to our coverage of Sea Otter 2024, the biggest cycling trade show in North America. In today's video, we're going to be bringing you the weirdest, wonderfulest, newest and freshest tech that we've sleuthed in the pits today. But kicking things off, we're going to start with the most controversial product here today, the new Cane Creek Invert gravel fork. In the words of the brand, the world's first gravel suspension fork. Launched just before the show, as you can see, the Invert is, as the name suggested, a upside down or inverted gravel bike suspension fork. Now, compared to other gravel forks on the market, this one is massively simplified. It has no damping circuit, merely relying on an air spring to give a little bit of squish for those gnarlier gravel trails. The fork does have a lockout with this little button on the top here, so you can lock it out for, paved climbs or slightly smoother climbs. But overall, compared to other gravel bike forks on the market, there's way less going on here. I think it's safe to say that the majority of gravel bike suspension tech to date has been sort of inspired or adapted from mountain bikes. This really is designed from the gravel up for gravel riding, hence Cane Creek's perhaps generous claim that it is the first gravel suspension fork on the market. I think the only thing that comes close in terms of simplicity is, of course, Lauf's leaf-sprung suspension forks, but it's a very, very different proposition to this. With just 40 millimeters of travel, this is not one you're going to be sending massive doubles on, but I want to hear what you think about gravel bike suspension. Could you ever be tempted by something like this, or are you absolutely fine with rigid? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you want to read more about gravel bike suspension, we have a full group test and buyer's guide for that over on the site with a link for that in the video description. What do you think about the fork? All right. Now you know me. I love a niche bike, but does it get more niche than a bike packing BMX? How sick is this thing? This is from a brand called Kyoot. Yes, literally Kyoot bikes. It's the phonetic spelling, K-Y-O-O-T. Founded by a BMX rider, these bikes are really designed to be ridden hard. You can jump these things. One thing I particularly like is they use fairly standard. So while yes, 20-inch rims are a little unusual these days, we've got a 135mm rear end, regular IS mount discs, threaded bottom bracket, 27-2 seat post. You could build this up probably with most parts you've got in your spares bin. Kind of makes me think of the Velo Orange Neutrino, which I reviewed a few years ago, and I really, really loved that bike. I think everyone should make a space in their hearts for a mini Velo, and when they look as fabulous as this, I think it's a pretty easy sell. This is just one example build, but I was particularly delighted to hear that somebody in the brand raced the Mid-South gravel race with a drop bar version. How good is that? I really want to take this home. Sea Otter is North America's biggest cycling trade show, but unlike sort of traditional trade shows in the UK or Europe, it's more of a festival atmosphere with loads of racing going on, great food, beer, and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of strange, weird, wonderful bike tech, and that's why we love it. These are 5Dev's road and gravel titanium cranksets, which are also suitable for cross-country racing. They come in two different finishes. See these silver ones here, and there's a nice dark finish here, which you think just a regular anodizing. Wrong. These cranksets are actually diamond coated. A special vapor deposition process leaves a diamond light coating, which is very, very similar to the coating that's used on hardened drill bits or saw blades, and according to 5Dev means that they will basically never be prone to heel rub. The brand tried attacking these with a laser, let alone your heels, and weren't able to damage the coating. So these cool, stealthy cranks could make heel rub a thing of the past. Pricing for the non-coated version is around $1,000, and this coated version pricing is to be confirmed, and they should be available in the next few months. What would you pay for cranks that would never rub for the rest of your life? Let me know what you think in the comments. Now we're going to take a look at, honestly, what must be one of the most successful cross-country bikes of the recent era is the new Pinarello Dogma XC. Now this bike has actually been out on the market for some time. We had a launch last year, but it is now finally commercially available. One of the key kind of design goals with this bike, according to Pinarello, is making a bike stiff enough for its very, very top riders. And the key kind of talking point of the bike is that very unusual additional strut between the down tube and the seat tube. According to Pinarello, in combination with that and the very short, snappy rear end, we get a very, very stiff bike, which provides a very reactive sort of ride quality. This is by no means your sort of cushy, do-it-all, down-country-ish cross-country bike. This is a pure 100% race bike. That's also reflected in the fact that the rear end, as stock as you see it here, it only actually has 90mm of travel. That's quite unusual these days, where generally speaking for cross-country bikes we see 100 or even 110, but it is adjustable out to 100mm at the back if you want, but if you do that you will have to bump up to a 120mm fork at the front. In conjunction with the frame, we also have this one-piece cockpit from Pinarello's in-house component brand Most. It's quite unusual in profile, this one, where the sort of front face of the forward part of the stem is quite broad fore and aft. Now, according to Pinarello, this provides a much more direct steering feel, as it can't really flex forward and aft, but up and down you still get a bit of compliance from the cockpit, and it kind of looks like a hammerhead shark skiffing along the bottom of some cross-country racecourse. We've got 2.4-inch tyre clearance at the back, and as pictured, this bike is claimed to weigh just 10.4 kilos. That is really light for a cross-country bike. Pinarello has been really keen to stress that this isn't, you know, a commercial proposition per se. It very much is a bike built for its athletes, but it is available if you've got very deep pockets. This one's been really flying under the radar. We just actually stumbled on this by chance, but this is an all-new short track XC racing specific tyre from Maxxis. This is the new Aspen ST, ST of course being for short track. It is a really, really low profile cross-country tyre. To be honest, it's almost like a file tread cyclocross tyre, although on the side you are getting those same cornering knobs as you would see on the regular Aspen. This is a very, very lightweight tyre. It's available in 170 or 120 TPI casings, and definitely a specialist product. You're not going to be seeing this raced in anything except wonderful sunny conditions like this, but for those ultra punchy, very, very fast short track races, I can see why this one has been developed. Now we're going to take a little look at the Bridge Bikeworks Surveyor, a road race bike with 40mm tyre clearances. This very much is a race bike in terms of its geometry. It's nowhere near as relaxed as a sort of traditional endurance bike. And despite that pretty wide 40mm tyre clearance, we've still got punchy short chainstays and yeah, like no compromises in terms of a drop chainstay or anything like that. This bike is showcasing Bridge's new custom paint program, and this fabulous resplendent green sparkly colour is called Isle of Man Green. How wonderful is that? According to the brand, there's a pretty even split between people who are building sort of all-roady endurance style builds like this through to like proper race builds, and this has also been raced at Unbound. Now, we actually saw a preview of this bike at last year's show, and one of the key talking points, one of the patent pending bits of tech on this is the direct carbon threaded T47 bottom bracket. Most carbon bikes will use like an insert to have a threaded bottom bracket, but this one is threaded straight into the frame. It's very, very cool and well worth a look. The frame set's priced around $4,000 US or $750 for the paint upcharge. Now, considering this is handmade in Canada, that is a pretty damn reasonable price when you compare it to the competition, and I believe maybe we'll have one of these in for review quite soon. Help! 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 This is CeramicSpeed's OSPW X oversized pulley wheel system designed specifically for SRAM transmission group sets. It comes, of course, with all of the classic claims around oversized pulley wheel systems, with reduced friction being the primary one. There's some other really cool tech I want to talk about. One of the key things that CeramicSpeed was keen to talk about was the active debris removal system, which is essentially this sort of alloy disc which sits over the center of the pulley wheel system. This helps prevent any dirt from getting down to those precious ceramic bearings, increasing their longevity, but also reduces, much like SRAM's own pulley wheel systems, the chance of any sticks or anything getting stuck in there. Now, while this is very interesting, what really caught my eye is the bike it's attached to, this absolutely incredible Cannondale Lab 721 Scalpel. It is a seriously handsome bike, but that custom sort of smoky paint on the head tube is really, whoo, be still my heart. One interesting point on the note of CeramicSpeed, you can't actually see it, but with these bikes at stock, they actually come with a custom CeramicSpeed bottom bracket produced specifically for Cannondale. On an already expensive bike, yeah, you're going to want a ceramic bottom bracket, let's be real. Staying well and truly on brand, here I am in beautiful sunny California, and what am I drawn to? Yes, of course, it's a steel road bike with mud guards, the most Jack Luke bike on show at Sea Otter. This is the new Ritchey Montebello, a sort of old-axe, randonneuring, long-distance steel bike with all the accoutrements you would expect of a horizon-chasing shred wagon. The new bike is kind of similar to Ritchey's Logic discs frames, but has more relaxed geometry, better suited to those long distance days. Up front, the new Breve fork, which is also going to be available aftermarket, has provisions for a front rack, as well as internal dynamo cable routing, which is well up my street. Elsewhere, the bike uses a lot of Ritchey's sort of signature steel frame components. So we have those handsome fastback stays, we have the really cool custom dropouts, which have lovely cutouts to reduce weight, and of course it's made with Ritchey's proprietary triple-butted Logic tubing. As with Ritchey's other bikes, this is only going to be available as a frame set, and only in this red colour, but I don't think that's a problem because it is wonderful. And I think paired with this silver build, this is what I want to find when I come home from beautiful California back to the rainy, grim UK. Onto one of the most divisive new products in the mountain bike world in recent months. This is the new Fox 32 Stepcast. And of course, the biggest talking point is that reverse arch. Popularised by Manitou back in the day, the reverse arch design, which is a first for Fox for its mountain bike forks, results, the brand claims, in a much stiffer fork than previous generation for pretty much the same weight. Inside we have the new Grit SL damper, which I'm not going to try and explain because it's really complex. And if you want to head to BikeRadar.com, we've got a full overview of all the new damper tech and more details on this fork. In the meantime, I want to hear, what do you think of the reverse arch? Personally, I think it's kind of cool, but I would like to hear whether you could ever have this on the front of your XC whip. Now we're going to take a little look at the new Box 1 9-speed group set, and there's a lot of really cool stuff going on here. We're going to start from the back where we have this really nice one-piece steel cassette. This is estimated to weigh around 350 grams according to the brand. It's going to cost around $400. So it's a pretty premium product, but the whole thing behind these group sets is they're designed to be really, really durable. And there's a really interesting talking point in this chain. The chain is specific to the group set, and its outer width is the same as like a traditional 9-speed group set, but its inner width is the same as an 11-speed chain. This means Box can eke out a little bit more durability by using thicker cogs on the cassette, and as you have a wider chain overall, the brand says it's a bit stronger. At the derailleur, they've moved it from a slanted parallelogram design, which you would see on Shimano group sets, to something a little bit more like the drivetrains you see from SRAM with a horizontal path for that derailleur. And according to the brand, that reduces the chances of ghost shifting, but also results in more accurate shifting overall. Finally, up at the shifter, not a change you can see from the outside, but the brand has moved from injection molded plastic internal ratchets and so on to magnesium components, which results in better durability, but again, a more accurate shifter feel. Final pricing is to be absolutely confirmed, but their estimate is going to be around $700 with availability coming soon. Check this out, this is the Push Industries 9.1, an inverted enduro-specific coil-sprung fork, which makes it the only inverted coil-sprung enduro fork on the market today. The new fork is priced at $2,600, pretty heady price, but this is a very, very premium product and is designed, built and manufactured in Colorado. As with Push Industries' other forks, this one borrows tech from its 11.6 shocks, which you can see behind me, and it's designed to compete directly with the likes of the RockShox Zeb or the Fox 38. Speaking to Push Industries, they said that the flex commonly associated with inverted forks is in fact a bit of an advantage in this case. Of course, they're nowhere nearly as wibbly wobbly as old inverted forks, but that little bit of flex that is in there, according to the brand, improves compliance and tracking on rough terrain, particularly off camber. As a final note on this, that lovely bronze crown has got a Cerakote finish. It's quite an interesting note that Cerakote, which is a powder coating like process, was something we never really heard about a few years ago, but has all of a sudden become almost like a thing in itself, and we're seeing it a lot across a lot of different bike tech these days. I just think this looks really cool. You know, you're spending that kind of money on a fork, you want something to stand out, and this one gets a thumbs up from me. Sunshine, bike tech, tacos. My heart and my belly are full of the wonders that have been Sea Otter 2024. It's been an absolute blast ripping around the show, seeing all sorts of really, really cool tech. And I'd love getting under the skin of what makes the North American bike culture scene tick. This is just a small taste of everything we've seen at Sea Otter 2024. We have of course covered the show much more extensively over on our site, and there's links to all of our coverage from Sea Otter in the video description. In the meantime, thank you very, very much for watching. Please leave any comments or questions about the products we've seen today. I will do my absolute best to get back to you. But in the meantime, I'm off to go eat some food, have a lie down, and enjoy the last of the sunshine. And maybe throw a frisbee on the beach. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll speak to you again soon.